My name is Jon Cheney. I am the CEO and founder of Seek, and Seek is an augmented reality company. Augmented reality is a really cool technology that allows people to see an object in their space without it actually being there, right? To be able to use some sort of a camera and a screen to be able to add something or augment that space. And so we do that primarily for e-commerce, right? There's a lot of use cases for augmented reality education, training, gaming, of course, is a big one. Pokemon Go, everyone knows those things, right? But when we saw those technologies and started Seek, we said, hey, you know what, let's try to make this a little more useful. So we do it for e-commerce, right? If you're shopping for a couch or a table or shoes or really any physical product, it helps to be able to see that product in 3D and in your space. Everything around us is 3D, right? Our life isn't in 2D, and so we shop in 2D mostly, right? And so this is kind of the next evolution of e-commerce. Augmented reality allows us to bring things to life and see things. AR and VR are often put kind of right in the same bucket when they're actually quite different. VR is fully immersive, right? You put on this headset and you're now in a different world, right? You go somewhere else and you can't really interact with people around you. Sure, you can interact with other people maybe that have their sets on, but it's just kind of taking you out of the world. What augmented reality does is I think a much bigger opportunity, because you're taking the real world and then adding things on top of it, and the world is so huge, and then you have limitless digital things that you can put on top of it, right? Whether that's instructions on the screen of your windshield to see, directions where you're going, or like we do for e-commerce, or playing the game. Eventually, they're coming out with Apple glasses, probably next year, that will allow you to see augmented reality content on a normal basis. The biggest difference between AR and VR is those Apple glasses or any type of AR glasses are going to let you continue to interact with the real world as opposed to leaving it, which is what VR does. AR has been a long time coming. You could look back in the archives and find people playing around with AR implementations in the late 80s and even 90s. But it only recently got to a point where it could be used by anyone because of phones today. They're much, much more powerful than they were even 2 or 3 years ago. They weren't really capable of doing the type of AR that is convincing, right? In order to have augmented reality, the illusion look right, it needs to match the environment, right? And so iPhones and Androids, the newest ones that are coming out, have very meticulous sensors that can measure the room, and it knows, oh, hey, that wall's 10 feet away, this wall's 5 feet away, that couch is 2 feet away. It can measure that and kind of map out your space, including the lighting, right? And so when you then put a digital object in there and then apply all these measurements and lighting estimations that these companies have been able to figure out how to do, we can use that and make it feel like a really, really good experience. Another key element that has made augmented reality more ready today is now we can do it without an app. People don't like downloading apps. They just don't want to do it, especially to interact with a brand. They'd rather just go to Google, they find something, and they want to just see what they can see. We've been able to bring that technology to the web directly, and that is allowing us to get it in front of people much quicker. You lose people when you say, oh, here's a 2 or 3 minute process to download an app, figure out something, find your product again, to get to AR. But when it's just right on the product page and you click tap, that makes it really easy and accessible to you. AR wasn't ready a year ago because the web technologies on top of the phones hadn't opened up all the permissions that we needed, right? That's why it was all stuck inside of an app. Now, Google Chrome and Apple Safari and Firefox and all these browsers are starting to say, hey, let's give more access to the sensors and the phones and the cameras that are now allowing us to do things that we couldn't do before. And it's making a huge difference. People are able to access that content without any barriers. AR is a huge game changer for e-commerce, especially for certain types of products, right? If you're looking at a pen, right? I don't know if there's a huge value there. It's cool to be able to flip it around in AR and 3D, but it's not really going to be like, oh, I got that pen, unless it's a really special pen. But when you talk about something like furniture, there's a few things when you're shopping online that make you scared as a consumer. How big is it really, right? Are the colors going to match and fit in my room? What's it going to go like with these other things that I already have? And with augmented reality, you can just tap a button, place it, and it shows it true to size and shows what it's going to fit like. And now you have no more questions, right? You might not know what it feels like, right? So we can't augment the touch yet. Maybe that will come in the future. But for now, you can put that in your environment and all of your questions are answered. So what this does is it makes the consumer a lot more confident. That leads to a much higher conversion rate. We see on average about 100% increase in sales conversion when AR is used in the process. And that's measured over millions of dollars of sales, right? Those are very statistically significant numbers that we've been able to measure. So there's that side. The front end of it of, hey, we're going to buy more because we're more confident. We're going to be more likely to convert. On the back end of that purchase, because the consumer was more confident, they're less likely to return, right? That there's about a 25% reduction in sales returns when AR was used. One more thing related to the customer experience. Brands are constantly trying to figure out how to get you to experience their product. You remember an experience more than you remember a picture, right? And augmented reality, yes, it's offering all this great information, size, color, fit, how's it going to work in the room, but you also feel like you're doing something with it. You're moving it around and putting it into your life. And so you get all the questions answered and you have an experience at the same time, which typically leads to a really delightful customer interaction. There's a lot of really interesting statistics and facts about return rates. About 30% of all products purchased online are returned. That is a huge number. In the US alone, that represents $400 billion. That's a big number. And so out of that $400 billion, 22% of it is because the product looked different than what they thought. Something was wrong with it in terms of what was presented to them on the website versus what they actually received. With augmented reality, you could reduce that almost entirely, right? As long as you get an accurate model, you can see how big it is, you can see the fit. In the future, you'll be able to try on clothes before you even purchase them, right? Virtually, right? You just hold up the phone and say, hey, does this dress look good? Do these shoes look good? Do these glasses look good? Some of those things you can do right now, but as the technology and the sensors get better and better and better, you'll be able to actually try something on and know if it fits before you can order it. So this is going to have a major impact, not just on the individual customer that's doing this, but the brands are going to save an incredible amount of money. There are literally warehouses upon warehouses for return goods, things that just sit there. And that's a lot of lost revenue. And quite frankly, it's a lot of waste. A lot of it just gets thrown in the garbage. And so it's good for the world, right? When you take that to a global scale, if you reduce that waste and you reduce those returns and help customers make better buying decisions in the beginning, everyone wins.